There's a massive shift in geopolitical power. Most people who talk about shifts in geopolitical power think about it in geographic terms. The presumed shift of power from west to east or from the global north to the global south. There is a significant shift in geopolitical power. There's a shift in power from hierarchies to citizens and networks of citizens.
Connected technologies are a Trojan horse into democracy, and that was one of the really fascinating discussion topics from today's panel. So how does the explosion in information consumption and information publishing impact dynamics around civic engagement and transparency? And those are things that Google Ideas is really interested in exploring going forward.
Social media will cause or demand greater leadership or more effective leadership, because at the end of the day you're able to monitor the impact of your statements almost immediately within the community and within a broader social network.
The capital flows coming out of the Silk Road or the Middle East or Asia are obviously huge and important. They are still largely, I would say, being intermediated through the West. There are some gateways that are being built. Dubai is one. I think Istanbul will be another. Hong Kong and Singapore have built gateways. And I think if the regions along the Silk Road are successful in building these gateways, I think that will change the dynamic quite a bit, or will accelerate the dynamic in terms of the growth around these Silk Roads.
You're dealing with huge markets with a lot of appetite for minerals and energy and looking to sell their products. And we also have an enormous amount of financial flows now, as it was discussed today, going from the Middle East towards China. The risks are in Pakistan and Afghanistan.
We believe that Silk Roads will grow very, very fast. And this is on the basis of one key element. Today, when you look at the regions in the world that are growing at the fastest pace, we have emerging Asia, we have the Middle East, and we have Africa. And they're all connected to these Silk routes. And because of that, because of this pace of growth, we are absolutely certain that for the next 20, 25 years, there will be some room for opportunities for investors, capital flows, and generally for companies willing to, well, to tackle these potential risks in order to reach this new emerging middle class.
Right now, we actually have a debate where people think that their country is more virtuous than some other country. And in that context, it's very difficult to build a federation. We have a federation where the virtuous countries say, well, we should get a veto, and the non-virtuous countries should not be allowed to vote.
During the Cold War, we had a very clear division between the East and the West. We had the Berlin Wall. And I think it's really, really stupid to start creating a new wall between the North and the South because it's fictive.
In the places where people are doing things, you talk about Monti in Italy. Monti wasn't elected, he was appointed. And I think you have to remember, challenges the whole democratic model, that politicians right now exist to have themselves re-elected, and there's an element of rearview mirror mindset. And that, what makes me very nervous, and it should make everyone else nervous, is there isn't that strong leadership.
Leaders have to be sensitive to the issues. They actually have to deal with the issues. They have to be able to articulate what the issues are and how the responses they've put together will actually help solve people's problems. And if they don't, they're gone.
There are some politicians who've been talking about European doomsday for the past 4 years, and there are a lot of columnists who've been talking about European and Euro doomsday for the past 4 years. And the big question is, are they being able to change their view?
These types of events bring together practitioners from business, from government, and from representatives of civil society. These cross traditional boundaries, so you need to have ways of exploring these together where you also interact deeply with the perspective from these different elements of society. The privilege of being part of the panel thinking about global risks, global rewards, very important for a company like Shell. And we have to look at the landscape and apply to it lenses that help us to clarify the developments and the types of pathway that might lead to. Having these lenses helps us make sense, and I'm testing some of our current lenses through the discussions that are taking place here.